we can't solve the problem easily because we still have too much debt. But we can move forward in being able to make the best of it. We can spread it out. We can keep orderly. We have a situation now in which we have a very severe situation, not only because we have a deleveraging going on, but we have a situation in which monetary policy cannot work the way it worked in the past, that fiscal policy will not be stimulative. So neither the private sector nor the public sector. And
to interrupt for a moment, some people say that they describe that as there are no more tools in the toolkit.
There are no more tools in the toolkit.
In terms of fiscal and monetary policy.
Yes. So number one is we have a deleveraging. Now that deleveraging means we're going to have more debt problems. You're going to see, no matter what is solved in Europe, you will have a deleveraging. Banks will lend less. And lending less will mean a contraction. That is what I believe is the case. We should talk about whether or not that is the case. Thoughtful people should discuss that. If it is the case, we should then approach how do we deal with that. Now, so I'm saying I believe there's a deleveraging going on. There are no tools in the toolkit, and everybody's at each other's throats. So that there's not a quality conversation of what is true, how do we best handle it.
We have had that debate about, the need for growth, which would be a stimulative impact on the economy, and at the same time, a need to reduce spending because of the debt and the deficit as well as the long-term debt. You need also to make investments for the future in terms of science and research and a whole range of issues so that this country can be competitive around the world. Make sure it trains scientists and doctors and people who make a positive long-term contribution to the economy. What is your own analysis as to how we find the right balance between austerity and growth, or austerity and stimulus?
I think it just comes back to the fundamentals, the same for us individually. The economics for a government work the same as the economics pretty much for the individual. That whatever we expend money on, we have to make sure, there are certain things that are critical. First, you have to make sure that it produces an income to pay it back. Mm-hmm. Investment. In other words, in some fashion or another, what we have to do is make sure that when we put that money out and let's say we build infrastructure. I believe that you can build infrastructure. I believe that you can hire people unproductive people now who are idle. I think the worst thing now is not only the economics of it, but I think the social impact of individuals who are not working, are living beneath their potential. Is a dangerous thing. It's a social tragedy. It's not good for them. It's not good for the society. It's a cancer that exists. They have to be made productive, but you can't waste money doing it. So those jobs, whatever they may end up being, or those investments, have got to have a payback. And then
did the stimulus program that was enacted by the Congress after this president assumed office, did it make a contribution to growth at all, as far as you're concerned?
It certainly made a big contribution.
It did create jobs, because some people would like to believe that stimulus program didn't create jobs, and you're here to say, with your own analysis, it did create some jobs.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, but we, at the same time, and it created growth and it created some jobs. At the same time, we have this overriding factor that is depressing jobs. So it created jobs in an environment, and so let's turn to what is depressing jobs.
Right.
Okay.
What is?
What's depressing jobs is that the world supply and demand for labor has changed. In other words, there's a lot more people working as China came on and India came on, and they are competitive. The world supply of labor has increased, and technology has had an effect. So we're in an interesting era, because I think almost if you think of a person as in a machine, an economic machine, as being a tool, a part of that economic machine, the demand for labor has changed in a very profound way. It's an interesting question. We might enter into a period in which we don't need people as tools. Mm-hmm.